I was called infertile by my mother-in-law, and my wife supported her in painting me bad, so I divorced her, married her cousin, and became a father to twins. Buckle up, folks. This is a wild ride that took place over the course of 3 years, and I'm still processing everything that happened. I, 34M, never thought I'd be writing a post like this, but here we are. It all started when I married Sarah, 32F, 5 years ago. We were madly in love, or so I thought, and everything seemed perfect. We both wanted kids, and we started trying almost immediately after the wedding. Month after month went by, and nothing happened. No big deal, we thought. These things take time. After a year of trying with no success, we decided to see a fertility specialist. That's when the trouble began. The doctor ran tests on both of us and found that while Sarah was perfectly fertile, I had a low sperm count. It wasn't impossible for us to conceive naturally, but it would be more difficult. The doctor suggested we try IVF if we wanted to increase our chances. I was devastated, but Sarah seemed supportive at first. She held my hand and told me we'd get through this together. We decided to give it another 6 months of trying naturally before considering IVF. Enter my mother-in-law, Karen, 58F. Karen had always been a bit intense. She was the type of woman who believed her opinion was the only one that mattered, and she had no problem sticking her nose where it didn't belong. When Sarah told her about our fertility issues, without my permission, I might add, Karen went ballistic. She started calling me names behind my back, referring to me as the defective one and telling Sarah she should have picked a real man. I only found out about this later, but apparently, these conversations had been going on for months. The real kicker came at a family dinner. Karen had too much wine and decided to air all our dirty laundry in front of the entire family. She stood up, glass in hand, and announced to everyone, "I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. Our dear Sarah here is being denied the joy of motherhood because she married an infertile man. It's not fair to her, and it's not fair to our family line. Sarah, darling, you need to think about your future. Do you really want to waste your best years on someone who can't give you children?" I was stunned. I looked at Sarah, expecting her to defend me, to shut her mother down. Instead, she burst into tears and ran from the room. I was left sitting there, surrounded by pitying and judgmental looks from her family. When we got home that night, I tried to talk to Sarah about what happened. That's when she dropped another bombshell on me. "Mom's right, you know," she said, not meeting my eyes. "I've been thinking about this for a while. Maybe we should consider other options. Like a sperm donor. Or maybe we should just end this before we waste any more time." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman I loved, the one who had promised to stand by me through thick and thin, was ready to throw our marriage away because of something I couldn't control. It felt like my whole world was crumbling around me. That night, I slept on the couch. The next morning, I called a lawyer. The divorce was ugly. Sarah and Karen spread rumors about my condition to anyone who would listen. Friends took sides, and I found myself increasingly isolated. The only person who seemed to understand was, ironically, Sarah's cousin Emma, 30F. Emma had always been the black sheep of the family. She was a free spirit who had traveled the world and never settled down. She reached out to me after hearing about the divorce, offering her support and a friendly ear. We started meeting for coffee, just to talk. As the weeks turned into months, I found myself looking forward to our meetings more and more. Emma was everything Sarah wasn't: understanding, supportive, and fiercely loyal. She defended me to her family, even when it meant burning bridges with Sarah and Karen. One night, about 6 months after my divorce was finalized, Emma and I were having dinner together. We'd had a few glasses of wine, and the conversation turned to relationships. "You know," Emma said, a mischievous glint in her eye, "I've always thought you were too good for Sarah. Even before all this drama." I laughed, but I could feel a blush creeping up my neck. "Oh yeah? And who would be good enough for me, in your expert opinion?" She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Me." The kiss that followed was electric. It felt like coming home and embarking on a new adventure all at once. We started dating officially soon after, much to the horror of Sarah and Karen. But the real shocker came a year into our relationship. Emma missed her period. We held our breath as we waited for the pregnancy test results. When those two pink lines appeared, we both burst into tears of joy. 9 months later, Emma gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. As I held my children for the first time, I felt a sense of completion I'd never experienced before. Emma and I got married in a small ceremony a few months later, with our babies as the guests of honor. Now, here's where the story takes an even wilder turn. Remember how I mentioned that the fertility doctor said it wasn't impossible for me to father children, just difficult? Well, it turns out that all I needed was the right partner. Emma and I hadn't used any fertility treatments or special methods. Our twins were conceived naturally, against all odds. When the news of our marriage and children reached Sarah and Karen, they were livid. Karen accused us of all sorts of ridiculous things, from Emma stealing me to us using a sperm donor and lying about it. Sarah alternated between rage and regret, sending me long, rambling messages about how she'd made a mistake and wanted me back. But I was happy. Truly, deeply happy. Emma and I moved to a new city to start fresh, away from the drama. We're raising our twins, building our careers, and loving every minute of our life together. Looking back, I can't help but feel a twisted sense of gratitude towards Sarah and Karen. Their cruelty led me to the greatest happiness I've ever known. Emma likes to joke that we should send them a thank you card every year on our anniversary. So, that's my story. From infertile husband to father of twins, from a toxic marriage to a loving partnership. Life has a funny way of working out sometimes. To anyone out there struggling with fertility issues or dealing with unsupportive partners and in-laws, hang in there. Your happy ending might be just around the corner, in the place you least expect it. Edit, wow, this blew up overnight. Thanks for all the support and kind words. To address some common questions. 1. Yes, we've done paternity tests. The twins are 100% mine. 2. No, we don't have any contact with Sarah or Karen anymore. We've blocked them on everything. 3. Emma's relationship with her family is complicated. Some have come around and apologized, others are still Team Sarah. We take it case by case. 4. For those asking about the fertility science behind this, yes, it's possible. Sperm count can fluctuate due to various factors, stress, diet, etc. Plus, as the doctor said, low count doesn't mean no count. 5. To those sharing similar stories, I'm sorry you went through that, and I hope you found happiness too. Edit 2. Holy smokes, this post really struck a chord. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. Since so many of you are asking for more details, I'll try to fill in some gaps. The aftermath. In the months following our marriage and the birth of our twins, Emma and I were in a bubble of new parent bliss. We were sleep-deprived, overwhelmed, and utterly in love with our little family. But the outside world had other plans. It started with a cease and desist letter from Karen. Yes, you read that right. My former mother-in-law actually had a lawyer send us a letter demanding we stop spreading lies about Sarah and her family. The letter claimed we were engaged in a malicious campaign to destroy Sarah's reputation and threatened legal action if we didn't comply. Emma and I laughed so hard we woke up the babies. We hadn't said a word about Sarah or her family to anyone except our closest friends. It was clear that Karen was the one spreading rumors, and this was her desperate attempt to control the narrative. We ignored the letter, but it was just the beginning. Sarah started showing up at our friends' houses, tearfully pleading her case and begging them to help her win me back. She claimed she'd made a terrible mistake and that she was ready to accept me, fertility issues and all. One day, I received a call from my old buddy Mike. Dude, he said, sounding uncomfortable, Sarah's here. She's pretty wasted and she's saying some wild stuff. Can you come get her? I was floored. Mike, I'm not her husband anymore. Call her family or a cab, but I can't be involved. I know, man, I'm sorry. It's just. She's threatening to hurt herself if we don't call you. I didn't know what else to do. I felt a mix of anger and pity. This wasn't my responsibility anymore, but I couldn't just ignore a cry for help, no matter how manipulative it might be. After discussing it with Emma, we decided I would go with her brother, one of the few family members still on speaking terms with us, to pick up Sarah. When we arrived at Mike's place, Sarah was a mess. Mascara streaked down her face, hair disheveled, reeking of alcohol. When she saw me, she launched herself at me, alternating between sobbing apologies and angry accusations. "You bastard," she slurred, pounding weakly on my chest. "You let me believe you couldn't have kids. You let me leave you. And now you're playing happy families with my cousin? How could you do this to me?" I gently but firmly removed her hands. "Sarah, I didn't do anything to you. You chose to believe your mother over me. You chose to leave. I'm sorry you're hurting, but this isn't my fault." Her brother managed to get her into his car, and as they drove away, I felt the weight lift off my shoulders. It was the closure I didn't know I needed. The family fallout. Emma's decision to stand by me and eventually marry me caused a major rift in her family. Some, like her parents and a couple of cousins, came around eventually. They were hesitant at first, not wanting to take sides, but the birth of the twins softened them. Now, their doting grandparents and our kids have no shortage of love from that side of the family. Others, however, chose to believe Sarah and Karen's version of events. Emma's aunt, Sarah's mother, launched a smear campaign against us in the family, claiming Emma had seduced me away from Sarah and that our kids were probably not even mine. It got so bad that we had to block several family members on social media and change our phone numbers. The hardest part for Emma was losing her relationship with her grandmother. They had always been close, but the old lady couldn't get past the idea that Emma had stolen her cousin's husband. No matter how many times we tried to explain the situation, she refused to listen. It breaks Emma's heart, but we've had to accept that some relationships are beyond saving. The fertility journey. A lot of you have asked about the medical side of things, so I'll try to explain as best I can. When I was first tested, my sperm count was indeed low. The doctor explained that while it would make conception more difficult, it wasn't impossible. He suggested some lifestyle changes, reducing stress, improving diet, taking certain supplements, that could potentially help. At the time, I was in a high-stress job and, looking back, my relationship with Sarah was already strained. The pressure to conceive only made things worse. By the time I met Emma, I had changed jobs to a less stressful position and had been following the doctor's advice for over a year. We didn't think much about fertility when we started dating. We were just enjoying being together. When Emma got pregnant, we were shocked but thrilled. The doctor explained that the combination of lifestyle changes, reduced stress and frankly, being with a partner who didn't pressure me, likely contributed to our success. Yes, we've had paternity tests done, more to shut up the rumor mill than for any doubts on our part. The twins are 100% mine, much to Karen's chagrin, I'm sure. Life now. It's been 2 years since the twins were born, and life is good. Chaotic, exhausting, but good. Emma and I both work from home now, juggling childcare and careers. It's not always easy, but we're a team in every sense of the word. We've made new friends in our new city, people who know us as we are now, not as characters in the drama of our past. It's refreshing to be able to just be ourselves without the weight of history and family expectations. Sarah, from what we've heard through the grapevine, has moved to another state and is seeing a therapist. I genuinely hope she finds peace and happiness. Karen, on the other hand, has apparently doubled down on her bitterness. Emma's mom told us she's been banned from several family events for causing scenes. As for us, we're just focusing on our family. The twins are walking now, babbling up a storm, and keeping us on our toes every second of the day. Emma and I have talked about having another baby in a year or two. Part of me still worries about potential fertility issues, but Emma just smiles and says, "Hey, we beat the odds once. We can do it again." Every night, when I look at Emma sleeping next to me, and I check on our beautiful babies in their cribs, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. This journey has been wild, painful at times, but it led me here, to this life that I love with every fiber of my being. If there's a lesson in all of this, I guess it's that life rarely goes according to plan, but sometimes the unexpected turns lead us exactly where we're meant to be. Thanks again for all your support, Reddit. Your kind words and shared stories have meant more than you know. Edit 3. Wow, I step away for a few hours and come back to hundreds more comments. I'll try to address some common questions. 1. No, we haven't heard directly from Sarah or Karen in over a year. We have them blocked on everything and have made it clear through intermediaries that we want no contact. 2. Yes, we've considered writing a book about our experience. Emma's actually started outlining it. 3. For those asking about legal action against Karen for defamation, we considered it, but ultimately decided it wasn't worth the stress and cost. We're focused on moving forward, not dwelling on the past. 4. To the person who asked if we'd consider being on a talk show, thanks, but no thanks. We value our privacy too much. 5. For those struggling with infertility, my heart goes out to you. This journey is different for everyone. Don't lose hope, but also be kind to yourselves. Your worth isn't determined by your ability to have biological children. 6. And finally, to those saying this story is too wild to be true, I get it. If I read this a few years ago, I might not have believed it either. Life is stranger than fiction sometimes. Edit 4, you guys are incredible. The outpouring of support and interest in our story has been overwhelming. Since so many of you are asking for more details about our journey, I'll share some more insights and recent developments. The twins' early years. Our twins, Lily and Ethan, are now 3 years old and full of energy. It's amazing to watch their personalities develop. Lily is our little firecracker, always first to try something new, whether it's climbing the tallest slide at the playground or trying exotic foods. Ethan is more reserved but incredibly observant. He'll watch Lily's adventures with wide eyes, then figure out a safer way to do the same thing. Watching them grow has been the greatest joy of our lives. Every milestone, first words, first steps, first day of preschool, feels like a miracle. I still sometimes catch myself just staring at them in wonder, remembering all the pain and struggle it took to get here. Emma's been amazing through it all. She has this innate ability to know exactly what the kids need, whether it's a hug, a stern talking to, or just some quiet time. Seeing her with our children, I fall in love with her all over again every day. Career changes. About a year ago, I made a pretty big career shift. My experience with infertility and the subsequent journey to fatherhood made me realize how little support there is for men going through these issues. With Emma's encouragement, I started training to become a counselor specializing in men's fertility and family planning issues. It's been challenging but incredibly rewarding. I'm now running support groups and providing one-on-one counseling for men dealing with infertility, difficult family dynamics, and the emotional toll of trying to conceive. It feels good to take my painful experiences and use them to help others. Emma, inspired by our story, has started a blog about unconventional families and the challenges they face. It's gained quite a following, and she's even been approached about turning it into a book. We're excited about the possibility of sharing our story on a larger scale and hopefully helping other couples navigate similar situations. Family dynamics. As time has passed, some of the family drama has settled. Emma's parents, who were initially cautious about our relationship, are now our biggest supporters. They visit often and absolutely dote on the twins. It's heartwarming to see them embracing their role as grandparents with such enthusiasm. Emma's grandmother, who had initially cut ties with us, reached out about 6 months ago. Age and health issues had softened her stance, and she expressed a desire to meet her great-grandchildren before it was too late. We were hesitant at first, worried about potential drama, but we decided to give her a chance. The meeting was emotional, to say the least. The moment she saw the twins, tears welled up in her eyes. "They look just like Emma did at that age," she said, her voice shaky. "We've been cautiously rebuilding our relationship since then. It's not perfect, and there are still moments of tension, but we're working on it for the sake of the kids." Sarah and Karen. We've managed to maintain our distance from Sarah and Karen, but we do hear occasional updates through family grapevines. Sarah, from what we understand, has been through therapy and is doing better. She's moved to a new city and is focusing on her career. Part of me is glad she's found a way to move forward. Karen, unfortunately, hasn't changed much. She's still bitter and occasionally tries to stir up drama in the extended family. Most people have learned to take her rants with a grain of salt, but it's still uncomfortable when we hear about her latest attempts to discredit us. Last Christmas, we received an unexpected letter from Sarah. It was a brief note apologizing for her behavior and wishing us well. She made it clear she wasn't looking to re-establish contact but wanted us to know she had worked through her issues and hoped we could all find peace. It was a surprising but welcome gesture. Fertility and family planning. Many of you have asked if we plan to have more children. The answer is yes. We're actually in the early stages of trying for another baby. Given our history, we're trying not to stress too much about it and just let nature take its course. We've also started looking into adoption. Our journey has made us realize that family isn't just about biology. We have so much love to give, and if we can provide a loving home to a child in need, we'd be honored to do so. We're in the very early stages of the process, just gathering information for now, but it's an exciting possibility for our future. Unexpected connections. One of the most surprising outcomes of sharing our story has been the connections we've made. Through my support groups and Emma's blog, we've met so many couples with similar experiences. It's created this amazing network of support and friendship. We even met a couple, Jake and Mia, whose story was eerily similar to ours, complete with unsupportive in-laws and fertility struggles. They live in a nearby city, and we've become close friends. Our kids have playdates, and it's comforting to have friends who truly understand our journey. Reflections and lessons learned. Looking back on everything that's happened, I'm struck by how much I've grown as a person. The man I was 5 years ago, devastated by a fertility diagnosis and crumbling under the weight of others' expectations, seems like a stranger now. This journey has taught me so much. 1. The importance of self-worth. My value as a person, as a partner, as a father, is not determined by my fertility or anyone else's opinion of me. 2. The power of the right support system, having a partner who stands by you, who lifts you up instead of tearing you down, can make all the difference in the world. 3. The unpredictability of life. Sometimes the worst moments of your life can lead you to the best ones. If I hadn't gone through the pain of my first marriage ending, I might never have found my way to Emma and our beautiful family. 4. The need for male support in fertility issues. There's still a stigma around male infertility, and not enough support for men going through these issues. I'm proud to be doing my part to change that. 5. The true meaning of family. It's not about blood or genetics. It's about love, support, and choosing each other every day. To anyone out there struggling with infertility, family drama, or any other life challenges, hang in there. Your story isn't over yet, and you never know what wonderful things might be waiting just around the corner. Thank you all again for your support, kind words, and for giving me the opportunity to share our story. Your responses have been a beautiful reminder of the kindness of strangers and the power of shared experiences. Edit 5, final update, for now. It's been a wild ride sharing our story with you all. The response has been overwhelming in the best possible way. Your comments, messages, and awards have touched our hearts deeply. We've laughed, we've cried, and we've felt a sense of community that we never expected to find on the internet. To those who've shared their own stories of struggle and triumph, thank you. Your courage inspires us, and we're honored that our story has resonated with you. To those still in the midst of their journey, don't give up hope. Your happy ending might look different than you imagined, but it's out there. To those who've offered words of encouragement and support, you've reminded us of the good in this world. Thank you. We don't know what the future holds, whether it's more children, new career adventures, or just the day-to-day joys and challenges of raising our twins. But we do know that we'll face it together, with love, resilience, and the knowledge that sometimes, life's detours lead us exactly where we're meant to be. From our family to yours, thank you for being a part of our journey.